All right, we got a lot to unpack from the Knicks. 109-97 loss to the Rockets Monday night. So let's talk some Knicks basketball with Geoff Rasmussen, contributor and writer for the Strickland. You guys got to check that website out. Geoff, what's going on, man? How you feeling today? Welcome back.
Thanks for having me on again. I'm doing great. Excited to talk some Knicks with you for a bit.
All right, let's get into this one because a lot of people are talking about the way the Knicks were officiated. They fought back, but they couldn't get the W down in H-Town. So give us your thoughts on the loss, man.
Yeah, I thought this game was really interesting, Brandon. Look, their best players played a ton of minutes. They hit 3 more three-pointers than the Rockets did. They made and attempted 3 more free throws than the Rockets did. They had the same amount of turnovers and 2 more offensive rebounds, which means they won the possession battle. All these things usually indicate to a win, but they ended up losing by 12. And I thought the big decisive factor was the fact that they only shot 38% from 2, which sometimes in the modern game you can get away with, but they only shot 28 threes, so they were more reliant than usual on the 2-pointers, and they were just abysmal inside the arc, and I thought Houston's defense just stifled them.
Where do you think this new roster is in terms of on-floor chemistry, and what part of their game do you think that they still need a little bit more time together to fix or to get better at?
Yeah, so I think the early returns have actually been more positive than people are letting on. I think they've looked good for the most part. I think definitely defensively, the wing trio of Hart, Bridges, and Anunoby seem to have really good chemistry when they're playing that switch-heavy scheme. Offensively, it's a little bit more of a mixed bag. I think you want to see Towns get more involved, especially late in the game. You saw late last night, Houston was switching everything, and Brunson kind of put the burden on himself, which, to be fair, isn't a bad thing. Jalen Brunson's one of the best one-on-one scorers in the NBA. He's one of the best clutch scorers in the NBA. You're not going to go wrong leaning on Jalen Brunson, but part of the reason they brought Towns in is to emphasize and leverage his spacing, and they're kind of they've kind of been slow to do that, and I think as the season goes on, you'll see them lean into him more and more. So that would be the one area I think they should emphasize going forward, is just making sure that, Towns is this great offensive player, and he's not just there to help space and create space for Brunson, but he's actually more involved in the late game offense.
The Big Bodega finished tonight 17 and 19 on 32 minutes. I didn't send you this question, but I just saw it on the stat line. OG Anobi, 21 points, 40 minutes. Is he logging too much time early in the season? Are you worried about that?
Boy, you got the right person on for this question, Brandon. Well, if you're trying to upset Knicks fans. Look, I think that if you weren't worried about it before the season, you shouldn't be worried about it now, because what's happening is what you should have expected to happen. The Knicks are a little light on the bench. They're waiting for guys like Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa. Landry Shamet was a surprise injury. They're hoping Matt Ryan can infuse some energy when he officially signs. Cameron Payne just got hurt. You know how Tibbs operates. He's going to lean on the guys he trusts. If you weren't worried about it before the season, I think you got to just stay the course and trust that he's just doing this in the short term, waiting until they get some more guys off the bench that he can trust. I personally don't like to see it. I am a little bit more concerned, but I was concerned before the season. My assumption going into the season was that he was going to lean on guys like OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges. That's just who he is. I thought that from day one, with those 3 in the starting lineup, it would create a bit of a murky rotation, because it's tougher to stagger your 3 best wings when they're all starting together. And that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen guys like Bridges play 18, 20, 22 minutes consecutively. So I think it's just going to come down to how these new guys come in a few weeks off the bench, and if Tibbs can trust them. If he can trust them, I don't think there's anything to worry about, because when Tibbs has a full rotation, the minutes thing is way overblown. When he has a full rotation of guys he can trust, you see Brunson playing 32, 33 minutes. I don't think there's anything to worry about. It's when the rotation gets shorter and he trusts fewer and fewer guys when he really starts to over-lean on the guys he does trust.
All right, that just could be something that could be concerning, especially when they're 3-3 to start the season in the first 6 games. I guess everyone was looking for the Knicks to have a better record. So, I want to cause a little controversy here. Does it surprise you that both the Knicks and the Nets are at 500 to start the season?
Of course. I mean, going into the season, the Knicks were the Knicks were the third betting title favorite, and the Nets were, they're in a rebuild. So even this early, I think it would be a surprise to anyone who's being rational that these two teams are on the same plane. But I think you have to give the Nets credit more than you want to criticize the Knicks. I think Jordi Fernandez is doing a great job. He's clearly a really good coach. They've got Cam Thomas shooting the lights out and just scoring. They've got a bunch of Dennis Schroeder's playing some of the best basketball of his life. Cam Johnson was really good again last night in their win against Memphis. So is it a surprise? Yes. Do I think it's going to maintain? Probably not. But I think Nets fans have a reason to be optimistic with at least the earlier turns of these first few games.
All right, Geoff, tell the people where they can find you, man. Shout out the platform.
Yeah, I'm Frank Barrett 119 on Twitter. Not going to get into the name again. I haven't changed it, Brandon. You told me to change it last time, but I just think this is who I am. But my name's not Frank, it's Geoff. Yeah, I'm just on Twitter. I do clips and film for Strickland, so if you like the NBA, you like the Knicks, check me out. And I appreciate you having me on, Brandon.
All right, man. Thanks for jumping on with us.